All right, this session is our Liberal Arts and Sciences Degrees in Action meeting for remarkable UCCS students. My name is Vanessa Aya, and I am with the admissions office. I am joined today by 4 students in our College of Letters, Arts and Sciences College, which is the largest college on our campus of a little less than 12,000 students this fall semester. And let's go ahead and start off with introductions. And I'll start with Irina.
Hello, my name is Irina, and I'm a Women's and Ethnic Studies major with a certificate in Gender and Sexualities. It's my junior year, it's my 3rd year. My pronouns are they, them exclusively, and I am from Togo, West Africa, but I immigrated here in 2003 and I have been living in the States since then and moved to Colorado Springs in 2018 when I first started college.
All right, hi, my name is Frida, and my preferred pronouns are she, her. I am a political science and geography and environmental studies double major, and I have a concentration in global politics and also a minor in sustainable development. And I'm a senior in college, and I am from Norway. I've been living in the US for about 4 years now, and I moved to Colorado Springs about 2 years ago.
Hi, my name is Noelle. I am a senior here at UCCS, planning to graduate this December. My major is organizational and strategic communication with a minor in leadership. And then I am from Colorado Springs native, and my pronouns are she and her.
Hi everyone, my name is Madison. I'm a biochemistry major here at UCCS. I'm in my junior year here at college, and my pronouns are she, her. I'm originally from South Korea, but I was adopted and put into a foster care system here in the United States, and my hometown is Evergreen, Colorado.
All right, excellent. And so you can see on the screen that our 4 students do represent a good amount of our College of Letters, Arts and Sciences programs. We do also offer programs, not just in the natural sciences, as you notice with Madison, she's in biochem, and not just with our social sciences areas, as our other 3 students are represented there. We also do have programs in visual and performing arts too, just to name a few: visual art, theater, music, dance, so on and so forth. And so we are going to just jump right into the first questions. You know, as they've mentioned, they've given you a preview of the academics departments that they have been a part of, but I'm going to start off with the question: in letters, arts, and sciences in our college, there are a variety of opportunities. We call them peak learning experiences at UCCS that are available for students. And so I'm wondering, students, if you could provide one example at least of something that you have been a part of. And Frida, I will start with you. Frida, we've got you muted.
I am so sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yes, you're great.
All right, cool. So, one really cool thing that I have got to experience while at UCCS is that I have been provided the opportunity to do a lot of research, especially within the Department of Geography and Environmental Studies. So it started with I connected with one of the professors while taking a class in global migration. And then she really liked my work, so we went into doing an independent study for one semester. And after that, we applied for the undergraduate research academy grant and also the Glint Seed grant, which is part of the Global Intercultural Research Center grant. And so after winning those grants, I was able to get hired as an undergraduate research assistant. And so I'm now currently working on a National Geographic funded research project. And so the research involves refugees in urban farms and the process of placemaking. So I'm really excited about having the opportunity to do that research.
Thank you for sharing, Frida. Let's go over to Madison.
Hi, everyone. So similar to what Frida said, I'm involved in undergraduate research. As you can see, I'm in the research lab right now. So part of my role here is studying enzyme design and expression, as well as purification. And basically what this means is that I have been awarded a grant. It's known as the EPIC grant. And this goal of the project is to hopefully design a protein capable of defluorinating water, which basically we're just detoxifying drinking water in Colorado. So part of the reason why research here at UCCS is so valuable is, especially for an undergraduate, getting these types of opportunities at this university is incredibly rewarding, especially if you go to a bigger university, you might not have these opportunities. So to be able to work with these PhD professors and be awarded these types of grants is one of the biggest reasons why UCCS provides amazing opportunities for students like myself and Frida who like to get involved in research.
Awesome. I am involved in my independent study right now through women's and ethnic studies through one of their certificate programs, which is gender and sexuality studies. There are actually 5 ways you can get a certificate through women's and ethnic studies. One is the global studies certificate. Then there's the Latinx studies undergraduate certificate, the Native American and Indigenous studies undergraduate certificate, and then the gender and sexualities studies undergraduate certificate. So these are all undergraduate certificates. And with me, I chose to do my independent study, particularly focusing on Black people in performing non-normative acts. And so it's super specific, and West really allowed me to focus in on something that I thought was missing in the field of women's and ethnic studies. And I think that's a huge thing that people might really want to get into, just because our program allows for like super specific study programs. And so I'm super excited to finish my independent study and do more reading and actually move on through the West program and start interviewing people and also apply for undergraduate research grants in order to continue my research.
Thank you, Irina. So I have been involved in quite a few different programs throughout the College of LAS. The first one I want to talk about is LAS Peak Ambassadors. It is a club on campus, but it is also a program run through the College of LAS. This program gives you a lot of connections throughout campus. You get kind of first dibs on, you get to learn about internships first, job openings and things like that that are available to you. And so it's a great resource to just kind of start at the baseline to kind of figure out where you want to go and who you want to connect with. And then another opportunity that I've had is called LAS Peak Moments. And that is a recently started YouTube channel started by the College of LAS, where we create, produce, and develop different types of videos based on what the organizers want to create. So it's really a student-led YouTube channel, and we get to choose what we want to do, what we want to produce, and what we want to put out to the UCCS community.
All right, thank you all for sharing. And yes, if you have not checked out their UCCS LAS Peak Moments YouTube channel, I definitely encourage you to do that. You'll see some great content from some of the students that are on here, a day in the life of certain majors. They also have put together some content from faculty and also with the Dean of the College of Letters, Arts, and Sciences. And so we'll make sure to drop that link to their YouTube channel so that way you can have access to it. All right, so thank you for sharing some of those peak learning experiences, students, that you've had at UCCS. My second question for you all is related to the community, the UCCS Mountain Lion community. So oftentimes, we have prospective students and families who are struck by our beautiful location in Colorado Springs, the views of Pikes Peak from pretty much anywhere on campus. But I would love for you all to share about the people and the community that make up UCCS. Can you each perhaps share one person, faculty, staff, or a fellow student that has made an impact on you during your UCCS college journey? And we'll start with Madison in the lab.
Hi, everyone, again. So UCCS is one of the most beautiful campuses, like Vanessa said, but the community is really what makes UCCS special. So besides just like all of the great students and the clubs and the organizations, one person that really impacted me is my PI, or principal investigator for research, Dr. James Kovacs. This professor was monumental in helping me get jobs at hospitals, internships in other research labs, as well as give me connections for future medical schools and graduate programs that I'm looking towards applying to in the future. Like I said, like the community here is just so incredible. I've met my best friend, I joined a sorority, I've been involved in the athletics here on campus, and everyone is basically family here. So it's a really, really great place if you're looking for that kind of connection with people.
So personally, myself, I have been an on-campus student employee since the day I started college. I've only actually gone through 2 different jobs while being here on campus. My first job, I worked in residence life and housing, and the person that makes the most connection to me since day one, her name is Missy Cernattinger. She now currently works in the first year experience office on campus. She was probably like the first person I really met on campus, got to know. She was my boss for the first probably year and a half that I worked on campus, and she is still a great mentor and a friend to me to this day. I see her at least once a week, and she just she really helps me on a personal level, on an academic level, on a professional level. She's a really great mentor to me, and like Madison was saying, the community is just so great here on campus that you can make connections in any different department on campus, not just within your own major, and I think that's really awesome.
So the person who stands out to me the most must be my research mentor, Dr. Emily Skop. She is also a professor and chair of the geography department. And so our mentorship has been so crucial to my future career, and also just getting involved in research. And yeah, it's just amazing how she has helped me, apply for grants. She has helped me connect with certain people that work within the Colorado state government, and she's also connected me with important contacts within different graduate programs that I am going to apply to. So her mentorship has been a great experience for me, and I would really recommend anyone starting college to really connect with their professors and reach out to them early on and see what opportunities are there, because a lot of these opportunities are not necessarily obvious to everyone. So really just connect with your professors and ask them questions and see what opportunities are there. Could be really helpful for your college career.
Thank you, Frida. I absolutely agree that connecting with your professors and your faculty is super, super important to having a great college experience and a great academic experience. And the person that impacted me is my current faculty mentor, Dr. Trey Wentling. I took Women's and Ethnic Studies 1010, the intro level, my freshman year, and that he was my professor in that class. And just making that connection, going to office hours, continuing talking about the things that I've been learning in class, outside of class, has been super important. And now he's helping me with my independent study, as well as like future research grant applications. And it's just really great to have a faculty member in your corner, because I also get to have opportunities like getting to know things that are happening in our community or even nationally that I might be able to apply to, whether that means scholarships, grants, anything that has to pertain to me and the things that I'm studying. And so I think it's super, super important to really just make those connections, even if it's not a faculty member, someone on campus. I recommend librarians. They're fantastic. Make them your best friends. So that's who impacted me. Dr. Trey Wentling has been just super transformative in my college career.
Awesome. Thank you all for sharing that. And yes, having been a staff person since 1999, I started my career at UCCS as an academic advisor. I can attest to that. Those long-lasting relationships with students. I love, of course, watching them grow while they are here at UCCS, but I really enjoy hearing about what they're doing after locally, in the state of Colorado, or even nationwide and worldwide. And so, yes, I would agree with all of these students that that our students are doing some really neat things, and again, staying connected with the mountain lion community. So the last formal question I have for our student panel has to deal with those things. What are your plans, students, for what you'll or how you will be using your Letters, Arts, and Sciences, or LAS degree after graduating from us? And so we'll have Noelle kick us off with this question.
Thank you, Vanessa. So I just want to start off by saying it's not sometimes the easiest to figure out what you're going to do after you graduate. I feel like it was only in the past year that I kind of started to gather my thoughts on what I wanted to do. For the first whole half, I had no idea. So if you don't have a clue, that's definitely okay. It takes some time to figure out, or it might change 3 or 4 times before you graduate. But as of right now, I am really looking to go into the National Park Service after I graduate. Last summer, I did an internship with them through an organization, and that's kind of really where my heart just fell in love. Ideally, I would love to go back to Alaska. That's where I interned, and that's just kind of where my heart fell. But any national park location would kind of be ideal for me to start after college.
All right, let's have Irina share next.
Awesome. Yeah, I've been strictly trying to make my goal to get into law school and to get my law degree, and it slightly changed over time, particularly like being at college. But I still want to get my law degree, but I want to make it a JD PhD so that I can also teach, in terms of being like also becoming a professor while also having the opportunity to practice law. And I love that although I can have any undergraduate degree in order to apply to get into law school, women's ethnic studies is super helpful for that, because it takes the politics of everything and the theory of everything and it applies it to actual real people who are experiencing things in real life. And I think that gives a super important aspect and like advantage, especially if I want to go into working with other people, particularly because I want to be a criminal defense attorney, working with specifically marginalized communities and people who are underserved, and also like particularly Black people and people who are in poverty. So that's what I want to do with my future.
Thanks, Irina. That sounds amazing, of course. My goal after college is to hopefully apply to an MD PhD program for neuroscience and medicine. Medicine and research have always been my two biggest passions, and fortunately UCCS has done an absolutely great job at fostering that for me. I think one of the biggest things for myself graduating from UCCS is the fact that the program that I am in, the Pre-Med Biochemistry program, has prepared me unbelievably well for applying to a PhD program, an MD program, if you want to become a dentist. Either way, UCCS has done absolutely fantastic for prospective students looking to go to those higher roles of education. My current goal is to apply to CU Medical School, which is just down in Aurora, and hopefully I can help people by doing some really great research and some really fantastic medicine.
Thank you, Madison. So my plan forward is to apply both of my degrees, political science and geography and environmental studies, to apply for grad school programs within global environmental policy, international affairs, urban planning, and or migration studies. So having that wide experience during my undergraduate degree, I think will really help me apply for certain graduate programs that they will really look at the research that you've done. And so the plan forward is just, or my broad career goal is really to work with vulnerable communities in this country and overseas, and especially with the refugee population.
All right, thank you all for sharing that. And I love hearing about our students who are looking to go on for advanced degrees. What's lovely about these students on this webinar is it sounds like they've established some wonderful relationships with faculty right within the discipline of interest, but also be aware that at UCCS, we have our Career Center who can help students also just be another set of eyes, whether they are putting together resumes or their CVs for graduate school, or if they are looking for jobs thereafter. And so students who are on the call right now, if you have any questions, this is your final chance to drop those in to the Q&A button or via the chat box. But while you are doing that, I'm going to ask one final question of our 4 students. If you all can imagine yourselves being high school seniors again, or back in high school, kind of pondering, what colleges you're going to apply to. perhaps offer our attendees a final tip or a final tidbit of why UCCS was a good choice for you. And I'll start with Irina.
Awesome. So one reason I chose to go to UCS was one, the cost was much less than most universities. Even like in state, I think UCS does a really good job with cost wise. Also, financial aid is fantastic here. So I would always recommend emailing them and going to them if you ever need any help. And it was also like one of the like easiest schools that I felt welcomed at when I applied. It wasn't like the application process was this gigantic monster that like really scared me. There were always people along the way to help. And also it was far enough away from home. So depending on where you're from, that's something. Also, it's really beautiful here, as we mentioned before. And if you are applying, one, just know if that university has a program that you want. I had the programs that I wanted here, even though that may change over time, seeing that a university has lots of different varying degrees. If you want to change something, that you have the option to do so, and what that's like. It's super important what their dorm life is like, what their student life is like. So if there are events that are happening all the time that you can connect to, something that's super important to me as well is trying to make friends and trying to connect with people in college. So I know UCS always constantly has events or so many clubs, so many student clubs. I think that's one of the best things here to get involved with, because that's where you meet most of the people that you'll be friends with. And also just so many resources as well.
All right, Frida, we'll have you go next.
All right, not sure how to turn my camera back on, but can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So one of the most important reasons why I chose UCCS is because of the small classroom sizes, and especially as an international student, it can be really, awkward or uncomfortable being by yourself in an entirely new country with speaking a different language. So I think that the small classroom sizes really helps international students to get to know everyone and be engaged and not be afraid to ask questions or reach out. And they also have an amazing international affairs office that is so willing to help international students with whatever they may need. And there's also just really great resources on campus for international students. So I think that's the main reason why I chose UCCS.
All right, Noelle, you're up.
So UCCS, I'll be honest, wasn't necessarily my first choice when coming here. Once I graduated high school right here in Colorado Springs, I didn't really have a plan afterwards. I just automatically assumed I would go to the community college, but I ended up applying to UCCS and getting in, and so here we are 4 years later. But I think probably the most important thing for when you're first starting off is getting involved. I really didn't get involved my first year or semester, and so I felt kind of detached from the UCCS community. I wasn't doing very well in my classes. And so I think getting involved with people, if you live in the residence halls, people that live in your same building or people that live or that have the same major as you, just really get involved in different clubs, organizations, sports, and things like that is probably the best thing that you can do to get to know the community, to get involved, and to stay really kind of on track with what you want to do. It's really helpful when you hang out with people with like-minded goals or just like-minded aspects overall. And I think that's the best thing that you can do for yourself is just get involved.
All right. So when deciding between colleges, I decided to go with UCCS rather than CU Boulder, mostly because I really loved the city of Colorado Springs. It's absolutely gorgeous here. And like some of the other students said, the small class sizes were really important to me. Because of my future goals in medicine and research, I decided to go with UCCS mostly because I knew the opportunities for research as an undergrad would be much easier to get here than at Boulder. And I knew that connections were especially important, especially when you're going into that field. So part of the reason why I chose UCCS was because it was easier to make those connections with the people who were important in shaping my future career and jobs and all that after college. And besides that, UCCS is absolutely gorgeous, and I love just going to campus and walking around the buildings, and being able to see Pikes Peak is one of the biggest reasons why UCCS is ranked like one of the most beautiful campuses in the United States. So yeah, thank you.
All right. Thank you again, students, for all the information. Again, they are all part of our UCCS LAS Peak Ambassadors, and you can find more information about the wonderful work that they're doing via our College of Letters, Arts, and Sciences website. For those of you who are tuning in for the rest of the day, we do have a wide variety of other sessions upcoming. And so they featured for you some of the wonderful programs in College of Letters, Arts, and Sciences. But later today at 3 o'clock Mountain Time, we've got a session on food, dining at UCCS and where students eat in Colorado Springs. We have a session at 3:30 Mountain Time on our sport management program through our College of Business. And at 4 o'clock Mountain Time, our nursing program will be talking about their degree. And so thank you all for signing in. Thank you, students, again, for your time. You can access all of our events on our uccs.edu website. Click on the admissions and enrollment button and pull down to Discover UCCS. And that's where you will find all of our events. Y'all have a good day and have a great week. Thanks.